So why exactly do I own an Alpina Starpilot automatic? Hi, welcome back to Not So Obvious Watches and the second in my series of why this watch. This time looking at why I have an Alpina Starpilot automatic and a little bit of my story about this watch and why I love it. And spoiler, I do love this watch. First off, I should really say this was the watch that really got me addicted to watch collecting. It's the one that got me into the hobby. It was the second major watch I've bought, which is why I've done this watch immediately after I've done the Frederic Constant, which was the very first watch I had. So how did this end up with me? I had bought the Frederic Constant. The effort of going into and researching that had opened my eyes, had pointed out the rabbit hole to me. And so I'd started paying attention to watch shops. And then I was working in Melbourne and I would do these walks around Melbourne at lunchtime to sort of clear my head. And I stumbled upon a particular watch shop, which is now subsequently closed, but will crop up again in some of these discussions, called 8th Avenue. Now, as I said, they've gone into receivership and closed, possibly because of some of the transactions they did with people like me. But I stumbled upon them at a time when I was getting ready to go away with a trip for work. And so I had cash in my pocket. I had been sensitized to the idea of watches, and I saw this in the window and it just immediately grabbed me. It was something that just, I don't know if it's my background in aviation, and even, this is clearly a pilot's watch. I don't know whether it was something more or less than that, but just as soon as I saw it, I knew this was a watch I wanted to know more about. I tried it on, I got really excited. Little bit, I sensed I was getting more involved in this as a hobby, so took all the details home, jumped on the internet and did all the searching I possibly could about Alpina and this watch in particular. What I was fascinated to find out that Alpina was in fact the sister brand of the Frederic Constant, which was the first one I ever got. And that kind of warmed me to it. The more I read about the brand, the more I felt like actually this was my spiritual home. This kind of affordable luxury but also sporty kind of thing was really very definitely me. And the more I went deeper into it, the more I felt at home with this watch. And I think what it was for me is I loved that it was a classic pilot's watch, but at the same time that tried to be more than just that, going beyond the simple printed dial but bringing with it the applied indices, the high polish around the edges of those, again giving me that kind of sparkle that the original Frederic Constant that I'd bought had sort of so excited me with. Likewise, the surrounds on those hands, giving them that kind of, again, that jewel-like experience. And all of that had this sort of weird contrast with these really high sparkle, high polish edges against an otherwise absolutely flat, matte background. That tension just really got me interested. Overall, look, the case is pretty simple. It's nicely executed, but nothing particularly special. But what kept bringing me back was that dial. And now, like 3.5 years later, I'm still in love with this watch. And this watch is a major part of kind of why Alpina has become a mainstay of my collecting. It's something I continually come to look at, not only their new stuff, but it also led me into vintage Alpina and why I collect that. And all of that combined is kind of why this is my watch. That's the story of me and my Alpina Star Pilot anyway. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, like and subscribe. I own way too many watches, so there's going to be way too many episodes in this series. I'll change it up a little bit next time. I think I might go to something I've got a little bit newer. Let's see. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, you know what, like and subscribe anyway. I've been Pete McConville. This has been Not So Obvious Watches, and I'll see you later. Bye.